What's going on, guys? It's Bear here with the Scryguystv, and the Lost Caverns of Ixalan is upon us, and I want to talk about the commander decks and their face cards. So let's get into it. Pentlaza Sun Favored 2 and Naya and 1. Excuse me for my pronunciation. I'm not sure. Legendary creature dinosaur. Whenever it or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X, where X is that creature's toughness. Do this only once each turn. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So I'm thinking it's such a weird wording, right? Because it says cast it without until you exile a non-land card with mana value or less. So I'm reading that as the mana value has to be less than the toughness, possibly, and with the mana, and it just has to have a mana value. That could be a mistype, it could be equal mana value or less, but we'll see. Well, once the official the card comes out, I don't know. But I think that's really good that they also stapled the do it only once per turn, because we don't want another, the first sliver to come out. And I think it's really cool. You discover X equals to the toughness. That's such a dinosaur thing, because you have that one of those dinosaurs that gives you life equal to the toughness. So there's that. But also there's a lot of things in this that can be reduce cost, right? So let's get to the next slide of the cards I would put in. Galta, Primal Hunger. It's gonna cost X less, where X is the total power of creatures you control. So relatively speaking, it could just be 2 green mana, and then you're going to discover 12, and hopefully you run into something like Last March of the Ents or Rishkar's Expertise. Just something that's going to give you nuts value on the board when this hits the battlefield. And most dinosaurs have a huge butt, so you're definitely going to rip something decent off, right? We also have Gishath, Sun's Avatar. Super glad this is getting a reprint, because it was like $45. 5 in Naya, Dinosaur Avatar, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put any number of dinosaurs from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom in random order. So this is gonna get you 6 deep into discovering. Hopefully you discover into, Mirari's Wake, Guardian Project, other things that are going to further your board state and further your game plan. Just because dinosaurs do tend to be a little bit more fragile with board wipes and everything like that. So hopefully you're going to be able to protect them long enough to really take advantage of this full engine that you're gonna have going on. And then we also have Italy, Primal Conqueror, 5 and 2 red. When it enters the battlefield, you're gonna exile cards from everybody's library until you exile an non-land permanent. You can play those things, but this is also let you discover 7. So technically for you, you're gonna do it twice, and then for everybody else, you're gonna do it once. But it's just extra value, and then obviously you could flip it into the Phyrexian dinosaur that's indestructible and pretty much has infect on it. I think this is gonna be a really fun deck for Naya. I'm always struggling to build Naya decks, and this one might be fun. It's a type deck anyway, so you can go ahead and stuff in all these fun dinosaurs with it, especially the new Jurassic Park stuff that's going to come out as well, just to be on theme. So it's going to be really fun to see where this goes, and then fun to see what the deck list for the commander is going to be. Hopefully it has maybe Gishath in it. I don't think so, because Gishath is like $40 something. I mean, even with this reprint, it'd probably be 25 or something like that. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see the deck list, probably because it's going to have things that are going to further that plan along. Let's go to the next one. We have Hakbal of this Surging Soul, 2 in Simic, legendary creature, Merfolk Scout. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each Merfolk creature you control explores. That is just insane value. But whenever Hakbal the Surging Soul attacks, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you don't, draw a card. So not only do you get to ramp a little bit, it doesn't say tapped. You just put it onto the battlefield. If you don't have that, you get to draw a card. But I don't really think you're gonna be swinging with this guy as much as you think you are, because you're gonna just try and fill up the board with as much Merfolk as possible, so you can possibly explore 8, 5, 4, 3. It's just a bunch and there's so many cheap merfolk creatures out there, and there's so much more merfolk synergy that this is looking like it's gonna get out of hand really fast. We can put cards like Cold Eye Selk in it, or Selkie. This one just gets bigger and bigger and draws you more and more cards as long as it stays onto the battlefield. But we also have cards like Deep Root Waters, 2 in a blue enchantment. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, create a 1/1 Merfolk creature with Hexproof. So not only are you putting more bodies on the board as you continue to cast more Merfolk spells, now you're putting Hexproof Merfolk onto the battlefield that are going to explore, possibly get bigger, and just really get in there in a turn or two, especially with there's cards like there's that 4-drop Merfolk that says if a creature has counters on it, those creatures can't be blocked. So they're just gonna get bigger and bigger, and you're in the primo protection colors with blue. You're gonna counter everything that's gonna try to affect your board state, and Merfolks are practically like 5 at most and below. I think it's going to be a strong deck, but I think it's going to be a strong casual deck. I don't know how it's going to perform in the CEDH level, just because I think that's just too much setup. It's going to take too long. But we also have cards like Emperor Mihail II, 1 and 2 blue, Merfolk Noble. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast Merfolks from the top of your library. And then whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you pay 1. If you do, create another 1/1. It's just another way to make more creature tokens. You're also in green, so you have things like Doubling Season. God, what was it? The one that just got reprinted twice. Not Doubling Season. You guys know what I'm talking about. The 4-drop green enchantment that doubles up all your tokens. So you're just also in just primo like mono blue, or you're in primo double token colors as well. So I think this is going to be a strong like high powered casual deck, and obviously blues everything for protection under the sun as far as countering spells. So that's probably going to be a pretty strong deck out the gate, I believe. Next one we have I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Clavilino, First of the Blessed, 1 and Orzhov, legendary creature vampire cleric. Whenever you attack, target attacking vampire that isn't a demon becomes a demon in addition to its other types, and it also gains when this creature dies. Draw a card, create a tapped 4/3 white-black vampire demon creature with flying. This is kind of bonkers. I feel like it's really strong, but the way I would probably build this is I get to finally take advantage of cards that require demons, so I think that'll be fun. But also this doesn't say that Clavilino has to attack. It just says whenever you attack, so it can kind of just sit on the battlefield while you're creating all these vampire demons. I would probably fill this up with like smaller creatures like Indulgent Aristocrat, which kind of can pull double duty into this, because you could sack it, instant speed, create a 4/3 demon vampire or vampire demon, and then draw a card, and then you get to put a +1/+1 on everything. I think that's probably the way I want to go. Maybe just a little bit like of an aristocrat feel to it. Things like Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, anything that can sacrifice that instant speed. Probably want to put Pitiless Plunderer in there to gain more mana, and then possibly just fill the board up with 4/3 flying demons. Also, you're also in primo double token color white, because you have Anointed Procession, you have Mondrak, and then you have the new god Ohir. I'm not sure how you say it, that triples tokens. But you're also in the colors, Orzhov colors, where you can get your double death triggers with a Taste of Karlov. So that could possibly just run away into this nasty Orzhov machine. But the demon cards I was talking about, one is kind of just a one-off. Mark of the Oni, 2 in the black, enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. At the end of turn, if you control no demon, sacrifice it. So you just give it the creature back. I want to play more demon cards. There's not a lot of demon synergies here, but my favorite one, and probably the most cheekiest way I think you can go ahead and win, is Liliana's Contract. 3 and 2 black enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw 4 cards, you lose 4 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. So as you start to turn all these little creatures into vampire demons that all have different names, you could possibly just win right away, right? Because I'm not, hold on, let me go back to the card. Whenever you attack target creature, okay, yeah, so you can swing with 4 little dinky vampire creatures. They can all become vampire demons, and then if they're still sticking around at the next upkeep, you kind of just win the game. I think that's like the really cheeky way to play this. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to want to build this more aristocrat base, and being able to get double death triggers, create double tokens of 4/3s, and just get really dangerous out that way. But Liliana's Contract in the right time and place definitely can get you the win there. And I think the last card we're going to be talking about is Admiral Brass Unsinkable, 2 and Grixis. I think this would be a really perfect alternate art of Big Mom from One Piece. Just saying. Legendary creature, human pirate. When it enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. At the beginning of a combat on your turn, you may return a target pirate creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It has a base power and toughness of 4/4, and it gains haste until end of turn. If a creature with a finality counter on it would die, exile it instead. So the way I want to kind of look at this deck, and probably the way that I would build it if I got it, was really just to take advantage of ETB pirate triggers, Hostage Taker. And then I know some of you in the comments are going to be like, Dockside, duh. Obviously, Dockside. But I'm just saying, this Hostage Taker is kind of one of my favorite like little pet cards as well, just because when that Sultai creature came out that doubles ETB triggers, was like an all-star. Like I had, like, at one point I had everybody's Soul Ring. It was really funny. But yeah, obviously there's a couple more. Some of them have raid triggers for the pirates, and the full set isn't out yet, so I don't know what's going to be on there as well. They might come out with new broken pirates that can double up on these double ETB triggers, but I would also like to slot in cards that are going to take away the finality counter. Unfortunately, we're not in white, so we don't get to have Solemnity to negate the finality counter, but we do have things that are going to give us an advantage for taking counters off our own creatures. Now, one of them is going to be Soul Diviner. It is Demir, Zombie Wizard. You tap it, remove a counter from an artifact, creature, land, or planeswalker you control, draw a card. So not only are you giving us a second chance to abuse another creature 1 or 2 more times, you're also going to draw us a card. Also, the One Ring, it could take off burden counters on there, just saying. You could also probably find cards to find ways to double up on these effects. Now, I don't know if you want to do that. I mean, you probably do. You could probably put a Psionic Resonator, because you could also tap that to double up on the Admiral Brass. Oh wait, this won't work on this because it's not a triggered effect. I gotta reread Psionic Resonator. But yeah, there's probably some way to abuse this again. And we also have another one called Fane the Broker, 2 in a black, legendary human warlock. You could tap it, sack a creature, put a 2/1/1 counters on a creature. But the second part is what we're going to be looking at. Remove a counter from a creature you control and then create a treasure token. So not only are you going to be able to resurrect your creatures, you could remove the counter with Fane, and then you get to ramp a little bit. I think that's actually really good. But I'm definitely excited to see how people build these decks. I think they're a bunch of fun. I mean, they're all type decks, so probably type like cards, specific cards are gonna grow up a little bit, like Heroic Banner, Mana Echoes, possibly for the ones that have red in them, Coat of Arms as well. So definitely excited to see that, because those are really fun decks, and they're kind of like easier to build in my head just because you don't have to scour the internet for different cards. You can kind of be like, well, this works and all that stuff. So I'm definitely excited for this commander set coming out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.